Next slide, please. In terms of what we're asking the voters for, so it's a renewal levy plus a 0.5 mil increase. We know times are tough out there for a lot of people. We really tried to keep the request as minimal as possible. We know any increase is a burden for many people, so we've really tried to find that balance. A 0.5 mil increase equates to $1.46 per month for $100,000 of value. Property tax based on a person, how much their house is worth from a valuation standpoint or the business. Next slide. As I mentioned before, over 75% of our budget is locally funded from the property tax. We have about 25% of our funding that comes from federal and state grants. And some other sources, but it's mostly a locally funded budget. So if the levy fails, then that'll be some real cuts. Please. The impact by the numbers. So there's 250 hotline calls per day, 50 plus neighborhood agencies that are funded by Adam H. We've got people for the schools. We have Adam H funds for all the school districts in Franklin County. We fund prevention services. So every school district is represented in some way by Adam H funding. There's 6 systems of care that we provide. So there's a whole spectrum, everything from prevention to crisis and everything between, treatment, recovery, housing, family supports. So we try to fund all of those to the best of our ability. We have 5 mobile crisis teams that work alongside law enforcement to try to deal with situations where law enforcement may not be needed. And then, as I mentioned before, we have 1 crisis care center that just opened in Franklin. In the first month, we served over 400 people. Over 60% of those were referrals through law enforcement, which means that's 250 people that are not having to go to an ER for service. They're not going to jail. They're going and getting the best treatment they can at a facility that's really designed for them. Next slide. So again, we're really the safety net for those that are dealing with mental illness and addiction in our community. We would love everybody's support on the levy next week. We really want to make sure that people are getting the care that they need, not only because that helps them, helps their families, but we want them to be productive citizens. We want, there's an economic benefit to this. So if there's a QR code there, if you're interested in learning more, I've passed along some flyers for everybody on the levy and also on the Care Center. And happy to answer your questions.
So how are you being affected by funding right now? Are you guys seeing a crash in that area? I know for drug and alcohol patients and potential clients, it's already, when you're up and running, hard enough to find a bed within not just Franklin County, because I know they're trying to network. So like you may be calling around and they're calling Cincinnati, Seacrest in Cincinnati, we'll say, for instance.
Sure.
So how are you guys navigating now, and how do you plan to navigate? Are you planning on a what-if scenario? Because, you know, a lot is involved. I know personally, there's a lot involved as far as, you know, when they need to stay, continuity of care, just you guys having the beds, and not just having the beds, but having the space for them to be there and to essentially live there. I know some of them are food stamps. They rely on food stamps to be able to eat while they're in care. So there's so many components that rely on both the bed and the state. So how are you doing right now? And then how are you looking to buffer these things moving forward?
Yeah, great question. So for us at Adam H, again, we're about 25% funded from the feds and state. So we are monitoring what's going on at the federal level, and shutdown hasn't impacted us directly yet, but it will if it goes on long enough in terms of delayed funding for grants, in terms of workforce impact at the federal level, so at HHS, stuff with people that are not being able to be involved in the program. For us and our providers, Medicaid is the biggest program that impacts us, so it may not be as impacted as quickly as SNAP and some other programs will be, but this last year we've really gone through and tried to do some projections to see what the impact might be with some of the changes that they've proposed at the federal level impact, and what could happen at the state level too. There's trigger language at the state level where if there's changes at the federal level, it could cut off services for those that are serviced through the expansion population. And so if that population was impacted, the impact to Adam H would be about $10 million a year. Our budget right now is about $120 million. So it would be a big impact, and tough decisions would have to be made in terms of what programs do you reduce funding for or cut in order to cover that gap.
Yes, because okay, we think about the levy. So, are you guys? I mean, what the real ugly truth of it is are you guys going to take the hit on the bottom line financially and recoup that in the current in the following year, or are you going to start cutting people off and say, okay, well, you don't have enough funds to pay for these services. We can no longer keep you here at our facility. And if so, do you start with Medicaid, turning those people away versus going up the scale to the different, I know there's even different layers. OSU is not taking Blue Cross Blue Shield right now. Aetna's having issues. So
yeah.
Are you going to have to start it? Is that a possibility that people are going to get turned away from services because they have Medicaid? Or are you going to be able to keep the people that are already in the program and essentially foot the bill until?
It really depends on the details of what gets passed. So right now, we're the safety net in terms of most of the people that get services through our providers in Franklin County. They're lower income, they're funded by Medicaid. Mm-hmm. We fund that gap where it's either people that are off of Medicaid, either because they make slightly too much or they're not eligible for whatever reason. Or it's a service that is funded by Medicaid that will come on that gap. So as there are changes at the federal level, as there are changes in Medicaid, we'll have to make those decisions about, do we fund more treatment because it's being cut on the Medicaid side? A lot of factors would go into making those decisions, and so it's hard for me to say exactly what we would do, but for sure we've projected out different possibilities and what we do. There's some services that are mandated by law that we need to provide no matter what, that we wouldn't be able to do. So we would have to focus on those that aren't legally required. But ultimately there is an impact one way or the other, whether it be treatment or prevention, recovery.
Sounds like Hunger Games instead but with insurance.
It's complicated with insurance for sure, and yeah, we're monitoring things, and we hope to shut down soon, and we're hoping that there's not further changes there.
May the odds forever be in your favor. Scary. Thank you.
We usually don't, but what's your question?
I was compared to the schools. I was going to ask, like, do y'all support schools and would y'all be willing to, like, for example, in our high schools, we have a vaping issue, marijuana and other drug substances. There's a program where they come into schools and break it down. I know that was something that
yeah, I don't know about that specifically, but if you give me your information, I can get back to you on that. But like I said before, we are in every school district in Franklin County. We provide prevention. skills for kids, suicide prevention, through our providers. Happy to share.
Thank you. Sorry.
Does anyone else have questions? No. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next on the agenda is George's Creek update.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, and what is your name?
My name's Aaron, A-R-O-N.
What's your last name?
Wasserman. W-A-S-S-E-R-M-A-N. Okay, got it. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for your time, all the commissioners, and to the audience. My name's Aaron Wasserman. I work for a nonprofit organization called Homeport. It's a local organization that serves Franklin County and City of Columbus, the suburbs. We are a provider, a builder, and owner of what's probably called affordable housing. Talk more about what that means. One of the properties that Homeport owns in our portfolio is called George's Creek. Within the footprint of your area commission. I was here at your meeting in February earlier this year. I'll just briefly show on the map. I think you probably know where the property might be located, or you know your area commission better than I do. But it's on Gender Road, about a mile and a half north of where Gender Road intersects with 33. The property has 120 apartments. Homeport built it in 1995, 1996. Was owned it ever since then. When I was here in February, I was discussing plans to renovate the property. That's what Homeport regularly does with older ones that have reached 30 years of life. So we have, after a couple rounds of applications to both the City of Columbus's Development Department and the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, which is the state housing agency, we've received approval for a mix of public and private financing to thoroughly renovate all the apartments at the property and also the grounds of the property. And so that approval actually came earlier this month, so we'll start construction in about 8 to 10 months after going through the process of preparing construction documents, applying to the City of Columbus for building permits, and closing on the financing. The City of Columbus and its development department want to make sure the area commission is informed about what's happening in your footprint and when the city local funding. Overall, this property's provided housing for families for many years. There are 2, 3, and 4 bedroom apartments there. Like any asset, like any building, it deserves improvement, so it needs housing of choice. It needs a place that people want to live. I'd like to talk about the questions you have about the property, but we want to give an update about moving forward with the plans we originally told you about at your commission meeting earlier.
Well, I am very happy to hear this news. I will say I have been on you guys for a while about renovating, and it was really looking bad. So I am so happy to hear that there's going to be renovations to that property. I do have a small concern, or a concern is when you are renovating them, how will you ensure that the people living there now are not ended up homeless? Like, will you just renovate apartments that are empty as they empty out, or are you doing one whole building at a time and moving someone to maybe an older apartment and then come back? What's your process for renovating? Is it one building at a time or just units random?
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. So we commit to what we call at our office renovation without displacement. The logistics are complicated. In general, as we get closer to the start of construction, that day is still probably about 10 or so months away. There is natural turnover that happens at this property like any other. And we stop releasing apartments. so that over time, about 20 or more vacancies out of 120 at the property accumulate, and we sort of temporarily move households within the property so that they're renovating empty buildings at a time. The scope of work that's going to happen, the amount of construction is, too thorough for someone to live there safely while construction's happening. And then someone would return or move into a newly renovated apartment once that finishes, and then the work moves to the next room.
And then the amount of income, the numbers that currently exist for the income levels that you have to have in order to live there, will that change when you renovate?
Sure.
And what is the change from what is it today, and what will it change to when they're renovated?
Sure. That's also a good question. It's hard to answer without getting into some fine-grained details, so forgive me like some jargon that I might say.
Okay.
So currently, all the properties at Georgia Street are restricted to household. There's essentially an income restriction per household, so that affordable housing, is allocated to households in need, and there's a maximum income, and that varies based on the household size, from one person to say 6 people. So the maximum current annual household income is called 60% of area median income. That's the maximum of the property currently. That translates for a family of 4 to about $60,000 per year to $65,000 per year. It changes year by year, and that maximum annual income will remain the same at Georges Creek after the renovation. Georges Creek currently has what's called a covenant on the property that legally defines that affordability, and that was scheduled to expire in about 3 years, and as part of this renovation will be extended for another 30.
Oh shit. So I have a question about this renovation. Does it involve any landscaping work or any sort of sidewalk building? Because I'm looking at the Google Maps here, and it looks like there's like absolutely no way to walk in or out of this place.
Sure, you're talking about on Gender Road?
Yeah, at the intersection to Gender, it's just a patch of grass, and then like just a little patch of concrete for the crosswalk. It's just kind of silly.
Sure.
You gotta connect that up.
Yeah, no, fair point. You're right. I mean, we want the property to be walkable, and we want it to be safe for pedestrians.
Yeah, I do know there's a Gender Road renovation coming up. It's going to go all up and down. It's going to add some bike lanes and stuff like that. I think a sidewalk would probably go with that, right?
Sure. You raise a good point that I and Home Board need to coordinate with the city in terms of like the improvements they're going to make or the design that's going to happen in Gender Road. Typically, as part of a renovation project such as this, we are placing sidewalks more internal to the property usually, as well as updating landscaping and playground at the property, for example. So we're updating those amenities.
Was that included in your plan to add the question I think we're asking is it in your plan what you propose to add a sidewalk in front of your apartment complex in the median? I mean, not the median, but on
The shoulder.
On the shoulder on Gender Road, no, it hadn't been.
It's not part of the plan.
It hadn't been, but that's.
That'd be fantastic.
Do you have security cameras up there now?
We do, and
Do they have what? Security cameras?
and
Yeah,
lights.
I knew you guys had them, but they weren't working the last time I checked.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, I'm glad to hear that, in the sense that bring it back to people who address it. But we typically update the security camera system.
And it might be a good idea to add license plate readers.
Sure.
Because you've had several problems.
Are you aware of the problems that they have?
Yes.
But I would like to emphasize that you're not coming before us with zoning, but if you have the capacity adding the sidewalks and the easement would be very helpful because we don't know when they're going to widen Gender Road, but we do know that they are putting in, we're asking anyone who's doing any kind of construction up and down Gender Road to add the sidewalks so that your tenants can walk to the nearest bus stop without stepping in the mud and walk to the nearest store.
Be on the road.
I see a lot of
And
people
they're not
walking in
on
the grass in the mud to get to the bus, and I think that's kind of silly.
And they also walk between the trees in your property to get to the D store or wherever else they're going. They walk and make their own path between the trees. So I don't know, maybe even consider putting a fence up so they have to use the sidewalks. Might a good thing so people, so the teenagers aren't running between trees and out of the property. But
Sure.
thanks. I'm really glad to hear that you guys are making it.
I want to thank you for coming before the commission today. I recognize that you are a Harvard scholar in the area of urban development. So I kind of want to know, why is it that you do what you do? Because we nitpick at the tiny things, but I'm pretty sure with your expertise, you are more than capable of making sure that these tiny little things happen. But I like to get to know the people that work in our community and for our community. But what's your why?
What's fine.
What's your why?
Fine.
Why do you do what you're doing?
Well, there are a lot of people here, so I won't get too philosophical, but no.
I still want. We've had so many people come through here, and it's just a job. It's just another dollar, and we are not happy with the outcome of what we get. So the why really helps me understand. And then should you have to come back before the commission, then I know you a little bit better, and I can understand where you're coming from.
Sure. Well, thanks for the question. Appreciate it. And thanks for the feedback that all the commissioners gave tonight on improvements to make to contribute more. And it's fun to contribute to the built environment and people asking that. And I've communicated by email with you and Commissioner Harper just to schedule this meeting. I've signed in, so if you're looking for an update at future meetings,
That'd be great.
You can reach me on that.
Definitely. What is you have an office manager? Is that still a person we can reach out to if we need to?
Yes. So there's on-site manager at the property, and if there are day-to-day issues around appearance or concerns about safety or something like that, that's the best person to contact. You can always contact me, and I can make the referral or the connection.
Is the daycare still in operation?
There's been an after-school program.
After school.
It's for school-age children, not like a daycare for ages 0 to 4. Okay. That still happens, and there's still a summer time program, like a summer camp for school-age children who live in the top. I work more on the construction or development, but I'm glad to pursue it.
Well, when you guys get done with it, if you'd like to have any kind of a celebration or kickoff, definitely reach out to us. We would like to be a part of that.
Yes.
There's a huge area behind the building that's kind of in a big circle. I don't know if that belongs to the Meadows or you guys, but they kind of connect. It might be a good place to have it, but having something to kick off the fact that you guys have upgraded and made some changes to celebrate that, we'll be more than happy to help with that.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Get the word out.
Yes.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Next on the agenda is Colleen Henry. Kellen, is it Kellen?
Kellen, yeah.
Kellen, hi Kellen. You're with Link?
Link Real Estate Group.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kellen Henry, Link Real Estate Group. We're a property management firm based in Columbus. We manage apartments and condos locally. We're about 10 years into the business and about 10,000 homes under management, between about 6,000 apartments and another 4,000 condo homes. Specifically, we have about 1,000 apartment homes under management in the Eastland area, which is my part. And here with you guys today, I want to highlight one of our communities that we've done some work with specifically in reducing crime, reducing code violations, and safety concerns in partnership and spurred by city offices, code violation offices, and city attorney's offices. So we've cut, for the last 2 years, we've cut crime incident reports on property to a third of the level that they were at this time back in 2023.
Which property is this?
This is Lakeshore Cove now. So
That's across on
No.
Hamilton behind all that.
it's on Hill. Not, I think we're just outside
Right.
of the specific commission, but
No, you're in our commission.
relevant to the
Yeah, you're
area.
in our
I think it's now called Lakeshore Cove.
Mhm.
So the installation of some safety features, buoys and emergency call posts around the retention pond, which is infamously rather tragic and unsafe feature, unfortunate feature of the community. We would not build it that way today, fortunately, but it is what it is now. So the installation of those safety features, coupled with resident events to connect our residents and our community with social programs, whether it's ways to apply for rent subsidies, medical facilities in the area, dental facilities, ESL programs in the community, essentially making it a more livable area, a nicer place to live, entering an apartment complex or something like that into a community, apartment community. So being good stewards of the folks that live there and connected them to the social services there really drastically reduce crime, but also in partnership with local CPD and the sergeants and the third shift officers there in partnership with our staff directly over a course of quarterly meetings that have been going on the last year and a half or so. We just had our last meeting in September. Addressed some really granular concerns about the property, about the area, about Hamilton Road, what's going on, and what their goals are, what our goals are. Again, I just wanted to come highlight that property, and I really wanted to come learn about the Prosperity Center and the Eastland for Everyone project. So I'm happy to see this corner of the room rally over here, because I would love to be first in line to champion the Prosperity Center. We managed these properties, these communities before and after the program left, and saw a really marked drop in of what I call livability, feasibility of our rent roll, all that kind of stuff. So adding a grocer option back in the neighborhood, something I'm personally very eager to see, along with all the social programs that you're planning to add in. So if we can connect you with our residents, but that's for a later topic. But I'd like to open the floor up, questions, concerns.
I know the crime has been better there.
We
Still had some, because I think he was here and talked before.
I have not been to.
Having
this is my
there was
first one of this.
there was someone that was talking about that place, and it was. I got home the night after that meeting, and there was a big thing that went on there. I can't remember if it was a homicide or something went on back there, a shooting or something.
There've been really drastic crimes, but
It's not compared to some of these other ones, like the one we have on No Bixby, or the one that just left here. So yeah, the crime has came down.
So in his defense, when you talk about affordable, capital A, affordable housing, sometimes we call it, we are underscore A, affordable housing, or naturally occurring affordable housing. We don't have the same kind of income restrictions as Homeport does. But yes, there's been a market drop in not only crime, number of reported incidents of the property, but number of reported what CPD classifies as severe incidents, which are violent crimes. Essentially,
We have that every night on Brandy Drive, right off of No Bixby.
I was specifically at our last meeting needling them on things like this homelessness initiative. So I'm happy to follow up with them and get some more clarity on that, and how we can connect those initiatives with our property managers and folks that live on site or work on site. But that's
I think Mark and I came over during the summer and did a resource day with you guys.
Exactly. So that kind of stuff goes a long way. Again, making these areas that maybe get classified as opportunity zones more livable, and on the other side more investable. It's also a key component.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, equity is king in Columbus, so
Yes.
maybe you guys can work together with equity because they'll acquire the commercial, and you guys may be able to do some above ground apartment type things. And
Someone will manage.
you can't go head to head with them, but you can definitely work with them
Absolutely.
to get that good feel. So
Yeah, we love creating long-lasting partnerships is kind of the cornerstone of Link, and that's kind of why we started managing in our home turf. I was waiting for you to needle me on I was going to cushion the blow from subsidies getting cut off in November.
you can't. I can't really on that because you can't quite not know yet. But what I can do is encourage you is to get with the number one commercial real estate company in Columbus, which is going to be Equity, and get with them to partner with you because it's my understanding they want to have sort of like the Easton, an upper echelon feel to the new projects, the clean line look. So I think that hasn't been thought about yet. And so if you guys can partner with Equity, that might be a good deal.
What does it do to the fabric of Eastwood? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Franklin County Engineer.
Hi, everybody. Mike Greco, civilian here.
I'm sorry, what is your name again?
My name is Mike. Last name is Greco, A-N-D-R-A-K-O. I'm with the Franklin County Engineer's Office. For some of you that don't know, Franklin County Engineer's Office, we maintain roadways outside of the jurisdiction. So the pockets of unincorporated areas of our road. So some of the major roadways within your jurisdiction, right? We don't have all of them, but we have portions of those roads. So I'm coming to you in front of you tonight. Thanks for having us because we received a grant, a federal grant through the State Roads and Streets for All program to do a safety action plan. The safety action plan will focus on crashes along the roads that we maintain. So we're going to take crash reports at intersections, roadways, try to find hot spots, start fixing these, prioritizing our projects, crashes that are happening. But a big part of that is collecting public input. So we're here today to try to get the word out. There's a QR code that Stephanie will show on this presentation. You can go on and submit a survey response, and then you can also interact with that. Select the areas we're concerned with that are, again, our roadways. We understand there's a lot of hotspots in Columbus roadways, but we can't do anything about those. So it'll be on our roadways. It'll be very clear which ones are ours, go on the map, and select those areas that are high specific. So we do want to be respectful of everybody's time that both presentations come. But this is Stephanie with WSP. She'll be providing a quick presentation, and then we'll of course be here.
Thank you.
Take the TV mic up.
Thank you so much. As I said, my name is Stephanie Eisenberg. I'm working with the Franklin County Engineer's Office on this plan, specifically with the public outreach and engagement. Next slide, please. So as I was explaining, the county received a federal funding as part of the Safe Streets for All program to develop a safety action plan to help reduce the number of fatal and serious injury crashes throughout Franklin County's streets. Throughout this presentation, we'll describe exactly what a safety action plan is, why we're developing one, what it'll be used for, excuse me, and how the area commission is involved. Next slide, please. So before we explain the safety action plan, we want to define it. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, a safety action plan is a strategic roadmap that outlines data-driven strategies and specific actions to reduce roadway fatalities and serious injuries. The goal is to eliminate serious and fatal crashes for all road users of county-maintained roadways. To do this, we're following the state US DOT's Safe Streets approach. It's a holistic framework for roadway safety that acknowledges human mistakes and vulnerability. It aims to eliminate serious and fatal traffic injuries through a layered strategy, incorporating safe road users, vehicles, speeds, roads, and post-crash care. It emphasizes proactive safety measures and shared responsibility rather than solely focusing on individual user behavior. It aims to eliminate serious and fatal traffic injuries through that layered strategy, which I just said, so I'm going to stop saying that again because I got stuff from saying my close. Go to the next slide. So Franklin County is developing this action plan because it promotes that shared responsibility among all road users, but not just drivers. We're talking pedestrians and cyclists as well, but also those that don't use the road, those who help plan for the roadway planners, and the system operators. And I think I said it before, it acknowledges that human error is possible and focuses on proactive safe strategy. Next slide. Because proactive safe strategies are what we need. When we look at the data, it shows high crash volume from 2020 to 2024. There were nearly 6,000 crashes on Franklin County maintained roadways, and a sharp increase of those crashes in 2024 alone. Of those crashes, 39 were fatal, 184 resulted in serious injury. More than 30% of the fatal and serious injury crashes involved people walking, biking, riding motorcycles, or ATVs. Part of the Safety Action Plan, Franklin County is identifying the high injury network contained to the Franklin County maintained roadways. A high injury network is a map showing specific streets and intersections that over a defined period of time account for a disproportionately high number of crashes that involve death or serious injury. If you take a look on the screen, it may be hard to see, but the red marked areas are the ones that have that high fatal and serious injury crashes. The blue have a low number, and the black have 0.
So I can't see that from here, so can you
Sure
tell
you
me
can.
what,
I'm just kidding.
can you tell me one of the red to kind of get a feel for what is what? Just one of those reds, so I can know what part of town.
Yeah, that's what just a pipe.
So those Winchester Pike east of Novick is red, and Novick north.
Okay.
Oh, is that Gender Road right there?
It's rendered to Bright to E-Bright, so it's close to E-Bright Road and Winchester Pike, which is that intersection right before you get to Hamilton, or before you get to Novick.
E-Bright.
And E-Bright, isn't that the road that comes over into Columbus from Rockport?
Yes, it's Shannon to the north of the Pike.
Can you tell me what this is? Bryce Road. So what is this here?
That little piece
This
on
little
that?
red right here.
That's right. But what's the little piece? It's like, it's not the whole road.
It's over there in that
That's
area
that
that you talked about, where those incidents.
No, where's 33?
Right here.
Yeah, 33. See, we're only showing.
Okay.
A little more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
you're right
I'll
here.
explain the survey and the interactive map.
Okay. I'm good. Thank you.
Yep. I think this is just the idea of trying to show you what areas to maintain very high as the annotation occurs on our area.
So you maintain a little piece of Bryce Road between Shannon and Winchester Heights. Just a small piece though, not the whole road.
It's that 200-acre farm that's for sale.
Right. And when that ends,
Next one.
So what will the safety action plan be used for? 4 keys. Community input is first. The community's help to not only identify key areas for improvement, but we use public's feedback for how to improve. The second is a data-driven analysis. We'll be outlining the factors that lead to fatal and serious crashes. Will then lead into the third key of strategies and policy recommendations to work towards eliminating these crashes in Franklin County. The fourth key is guidance. The plan will outline who is responsible for implementing this policy. So where are we now? The action plan began this fall. We're currently going through the data analysis project. Our community survey is now live. This is how you can get involved. We're looking for people to complete the online survey as well as take part in our interactive map activity. And what we really like about the interactive map is it allows survey takers to pinpoint areas for improvement and leave their comments and provide detailed feedback. So you can go as far as picking a couple boxes, or you can write a paragraph. You can do both if you want that. So the survey is key because it gives us a lot of information, but the map activity can really get some really good feedback. We're going to begin the plans development, in December, and we plan to present that to the public with open houses in early 2026, January, February. The goal is to adopt the final plan. Next slide, please. Get involved. You can go ahead and scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to the survey, which is live and will be live throughout November. I'll give you a second. Slide, please. You can also stay engaged by contacting Project Manager Mike, who's here with us tonight. His contact information is on the screen, as well as a direct link to the survey. And thank you so much for your time. If you have any additional questions, please.
I have a quick, so does that end at November 30th? Or when does it end in November? Because we're just now, this is like October.
Yeah, I think we're going to leave the public input through December. So through the end of the year, we'll discuss. But at some point, we have to close it off.
Right.
And then provide that in a public input.
No, and no Bixby, you only go from like Refugee Saturday over to Winchester Pike, right?
Yeah, so on No Bixby, we start just north of Winchester Pike, Fullerton. Then we have two traffic signals at Sedalia. But there's two traffic signals north.
Harbor's the other one.
Harbor, yeah, those are my traffic signals, and then north of Sedalia, it goes back to the so, if I have that section. And we are building a sidewalk in 2028. So we'll have a sidewalk.
Is this only the Columbus portion of Franklin County?
What?
Is this only the Columbus portion of Franklin County, or does it include all of Franklin
This is
County?
all of Franklin County incorporated. So all those areas that you see up there, all those lines, 260 some miles of roadways that we maintain. The surveys for all the roadways in the unincorporated area. So, yeah, it's Columbus, around Columbus, at every jurisdiction. And Mount Winchester, they're all outside of their jurisdiction.
Question for you. Are you responsible for Bixby between Winchester Pike and 33?
Oh, Bixby Road?
Mm-hmm.
That goes into Groveport.
Okay.
We
On this side of 33, not across.
okay.
Or if they just closed off,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have it on.
I think that's Columbus. But do you maintain the?
Well, all of
the
it's not
Look
Columbus.
at my map.
you still?
I don't have all 260 miles memorized.
It's weird because part of it's in Canal, but I don't think Canal maintains it.
I thought Madison Township
I
maintained it, but
think
I'm not
the
sure.
township still maintains
Yes,
it. So
yes. Bixby, I will say Bixby Road east of 33 is Madison.
Okay.
It's not a county, but it is on.
You mean north of 30?
Yeah.
That way.
Well, and Bowen Road, that's not
Yes,
part of
Bowen
the
Road.
county road? Because I don't see it up there. I just wondered. It's not depicted up there. I just wondered. if Bowen Road-
It's this.
Yeah, I think that's it there.
It's that they only have the part by the metro.
So it's over by Pickering Palms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't-
That's it there.
they don't
It's on
have-
the very edge. It goes into Pickering.
So this whole line is Bowen.
No.
What you're saying?
No.
Because that's the county line. It's
That's
Bowen.
the county line. It's the black line that the first is right there. Yep.
one goes up and then over
Yep.
here. They don't maintain this portion because that's land and it has all the houses.
It's kind of hard, you have to connect the dots. We're not showing all of it. Just the highway. If you go on the map, it's very clear what our little easier to tell where you're at.
Nice.
Saying, pull the map up.
Hold up.
We'll be
But
pulling it up.
please provide comments, because the more comments we get, the better our, this process will be.
I do have one question. For those portions in which you are completely surrounded by Columbus with those roads, are you planning on taking whatever this becomes and working in conjunction with them?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, we will work with other jurisdictions. We've done that a lot with ODOT, where we have a county road that intersects with a state route. We recently installed a roundabout at Door Road, 317 roundabout. We installed it, so it's their intersection. So yeah, we will work with other jurisdictions if we know there's a problem and it's close to one of our roads.
okay, yeah, because I mean, part of Winchester Pike is not going to annex anytime soon, so just curious.
Yeah, we'll work with other jurisdictions.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next on the agenda is the Mid-Ohio Prosperity Center. Hi!
We have made it. Made it out. We have
We made it to the end. We have probably enough for some of the audience, but not all. So each of the commissioners could take one, pass it down, and then we'll the rest of the audience. Good evening. My name's Brad Draper. I work with Mid-Ohio Food Collective. It's great to be back with you all again. It's been a minute since we were here, and a lot's happened. I wanted to introduce some friends who are here with us today. Tim White, who we banished to the corner, works with me at Mid-Ohio Food Collective. He's our Director of Government Relations, which means he's had a wonderful week given all the questions that were raised earlier. We also are joined by our friends from the Ohio State University College of Nursing Healthcare Center, Candy Reinhardt, CEO, Lane Delancio, Chief Operating Officer, and Shelley Martin, Board Member, as well as Jay Boone, who's been our lead architect on this project with Rudy Nolan, and our friends from Elford Construction, DJ Fett and Brian Booth. So we brought everybody with us to answer any questions, but just wanted to provide a quick update on where we are with the project. So as you all know, we're talking about the former Kroger facility at Refugee in Hamilton. Turning that into the Eastland Prosperity Center. Construction is underway. Construction started in earnest in July. Our friends from Elford can talk a little bit more about that, but we're still early, but we're on time. So fingers crossed. What we'll have in the center, things that will be mostly operated by Mid-Ohio Food Collective. We have Mid-Ohio Market. That's essentially a small-scale grocery store where the groceries are available at no charge for families who qualify for those services. The emphasis will be on, thank you, Nick. That'll be up here in the front left. The emphasis will be on fresh, perishable fruits, vegetables, all that kind of stuff, but we'll also have shelf-stable goods. We'll be operating a large-scale commercial kitchen. We operate a kitchen now in Grove City that is inadequate in space and design. So we'll be building this out and ramping up our production of meals for, we do a lot of kids' meals for after-school programs, as well as summer feeding programs, those kinds of things. Make some heat and serve meals for that get moved to the market. They believe with the same staff we have now, we can increase production at least 30%, having a kitchen that's actually laid out for that kind of thing, and we can grow beyond that. We'll also be bringing our outreach team over. Right now, we've got 10 people on an outreach team that goes out into the community across 20 counties, including to Ohio's prisons that are in our counties, to meet with folks about benefits they might be eligible for and help them navigate the enrollment process. So that's what we'll be operating. We've got some open space here, nice atrium, all that fun stuff. We also have a community room, so hopefully a year from now, these meetings will be happening there. The room should be able to seat up to 100 people fairly comfortably, and it can be subdivided into 2 smaller rooms if appropriate. Family Family to Family is be the smallest space in the building. That's a program run by our friends at St. Stephen's Community House in conjunction with Franklin County Children's Services. It is the only closed program in the building where you have to be referred into that program. Everything else is open to the community at large. Since we've been here previously, Jewish Family Services has occupied the last remaining space in the building, and they will be providing primarily workforce development. But as an organization, they offer a lot of other services as well, and we'll be bringing those as it's appropriate into the space. And then our friends from the city of Columbus will be moving in with us. So we've got the Pride Center back here, which we will refer to as Lynn's office. So we'll get to see even more of Lynn than we already do. There'll also be several folks working out of that space who are 311 operators who will be taking phone calls from that space, but also able to have face-to-face meetings with residents who stop by. Space for code enforcement officers to do their work, space for our friends with CPD to come in and do paperwork if they need to. So that'll all be the Pride Center. WIC Clinic, unfortunately.
Before you go any further.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say space for the commissions, because that was one thing we asked for. We all asked for space.
Did I accidentally read that out?
You said Lynn, but you didn't say the commissions. So
There will be
make sure that includes all.
I don't know about private offices for all of the commissioners.
Right. No, not probably for each one of us, but each one of us having our own. Right now, we share a file cabinet.
Yeah, I think there's
in a big closet. We don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, there's storage and all that fun stuff in that.
Oh, great. Okay, because there's 3 commissions.
So we're moving in
Yep.
or what?
Okay. And then you'll see this whole back of house storage. That's got pallet racking.
We do our meetings there?
So y'all have things to store.
Great.
Several years ago, our friends at WIC here in Columbus had to close their Eastland WIC Center because of some issues. So we'll be reopening their Eastland WIC Center in this space, which they're excited about. We're excited about, and then Celebrate One, which is the city's initiative to reduce infant mortality, will be joining this as well. So that's what's happening in all of the building that's not red. And given that we're in Columbus, if something's colored scarlet on a map, you probably know who that's associated with. The last time we were here, the last time we were here, we had a different healthcare partner at the table. Unfortunately, they had to step away from the project for a number of reasons. But very quickly, we were able to sit down with Candy and her team from the Total Healthcare Center, which is operated through the College of Nursing at the Ohio State University. So I'm going to turn it over to Candy and the team to talk a little bit about
Good evening. I am the Chief Executive Officer, as Brad said, of the Ohio State University Total Healthcare Center. We are a federally qualified health center. I think we're a well-kept secret at the city, because we do have presently 3 sites that we function with primary care, behavioral health, women's health. We also have dental at our east side, outpatient care east side. You know, that is the old VA, 542 Taylor. So we're at St. Vincent Family Services Center, and we're at Veritas Practice. So we're very excited for this to be our 4th place. We will have dental, and we will have an in-house pharmacy. We will have women's health, behavioral health, every service that you need, social services, everything. We have wrap services for all of our patients, like all FQs do. And we're also a place that we teach. So we teach all of our, there are 7 health sciences at the Ohio State University, and we work with everyone, even the College of Veterinary Medicine. So we have services for all, and we teach. And hopefully that's the, that we teach what to work in a setting that is taught back in service. So that's us in a nutshell. This is Shelley. She is secretary of our board. You know, every FDHC has a community board, and we have about 50% of our consumers. So we're looking for a member of the board from this area.
No, we're just here to answer the questions I have.
What is your timeline in regard to the project? Do you plan on being open once they open, or will there be like a delay in operation?
October 1st.
nice ice cream.
So yes, we're working together. We're going to get there. We're very excited, and we'll start full services at that time. We'll have to understand that the need for pharmacy, trade, women's health, we have midwives and women's health providers. We're right along with making sure that we're helping all the services together.
I have another question, and this is because I wear this hat. But given OSU is one of the largest employers in the state, there's given to be staff members that live around here. Does the total health care centers fall under the employee health insurance? Okay.
You know any employees that
No, I ask because, to be quite frank, sometimes this was my first go before COVID. OSU in orientation was quite frank about there not being health care in our area specifically that would qualify under our health plan at the time. And so, being the largest employer, one of the largest in the state, that's a huge thing for Central Ohio.
Did you buy the rest of that building yet?
So, I remember you asked me that. So we own what is the former Kroger footprint, the Dollar Tree that's next to it, and the barber shop that's next to the Dollar Tree. The rest of the building, which is the former Kmart, and the entire place at the end is owned by another entity. We have been, we're not going to buy it, but we don't want to be in the real estate business. We're in the business of serving people and are doing this to serve people. We have been in communication with the gentleman who owns that property through his attorney, because part of the design work that Jay and his team have done is to create a real safer pedestrian access to the space itself, because right now the parking lot is a bit of a free-for-all for people cutting through there with their vehicles. So to make that a little safer, we're putting a sidewalk in from Refugee Road all the way back to the space that is wide enough to provide safety and all that fun stuff. In order to do that, we have to change some easements and use restriction language that dates back to the 70s with the property owner next door, because it's, I don't want to get into details, but basically people can cut through and use parking lots. It was all designed for all car traffic all the time, and we have pedestrians now, so we got to rethink that. And they're willing to work with us so far. It's just getting the attorneys in the same room to figure out language.
When we held our shred day over there, I did not know, but there's a lot of people that walk from those apartment complexes over to that store over behind the ice place. I mean, alarmed. I was like, where are people going? It was like the whole time they were just walking from the board.
I do want to give Joe a chance when you talk design.
Yeah, I'll just touch upon the exterior of the building. Our starting point was obviously that Kroger transformed into a Mid-Ohio aesthetic, and we based our design on the Mid-Ohio food facility they've got on the west side on North Road, Broad. But we have a combination of brick, metal panel, a lot of glass. Brad had mentioned the atrium. This is going to be the central area that we're asking everybody to walk into, check into the center desk, then they can go either all the way to the west side to the Ohio State space, to the market, and to any of the City of Columbus areas back behind it. So that was kind of where we started. Just make it really fit into the community. A very, very long elevation. I'll show you really quick. This is the atrium, standing sort of where those main entry doors are, right behind, right about be a double height atrium space, a lot of great light, a lot of windows, directional signage for multiple languages, multiple cultural groups that are here.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on design?
Not.
Ironically, the facility on Morton Road that Jay referenced was actually designed by Kroger as well. It was a concept. There was one on the east side too called Fresh Eats. If anybody remembers, it was on Wagner Road. And there was one on Morton Road. We acquired Morton one a few years ago and turned it into a market. So it's very much that kind of modern grocery store. Well, we're underway with construction, so I'll invite Brian or DJ if you want to share anything. The gentleman, a few words, but we'll put them on the spot.
Probably all saw it on news a couple weeks back for the facade demolition. I passed today. It's different. Working on the inside. We will be working from now Christmas. Close up the facade. We're really happy working on the project. Which is also appreciate it.
Are you utilizing the community for any of your construction work? Or any of the parts of your construction work, landscaping, painting, any of the stuff that you're doing? Are you reaching out to the city of Columbus for people that live, work, and utilize the area that may want to be a part of the construction of this building?
Yes. Yeah, we did a fair amount of outreach during the procurement phase. The Ohio State portion is actually just a great procurement phase. It's signed in with, space company contractors in the area. Would be interested in pursuing the state portion.
That's actually a great point. Because of the switch in healthcare providers, the project actually got split into two from a construction perspective. So because we didn't want to delay the rest of the building and the way they staggered the process of the build out, we should all wrap up about the same time, but it lets us get started without pulling up the rest of the project.
Has Alfred considered a partnership with Eastland Career Center? And if not, you don't have to answer that today. I just want to throw it out there as a suggestion. Eastland Career Center is very close to us. And by the time you get to your high school year, your senior year of high school, you're allowed to go work in the community instead of being in class all day. So if there's some partnership that you guys could do, maybe that's a place to reach out, because people may not generally see a bid, but Eastland Career Center, if you go directly to them, they may have students interested in, working to learn more about construction in the trades.
Yeah,
they have their own program. We're trying to get more kids into the trades, so that's what I'm saying.
We had our general superintendents here, just in charge of those programs, so they do a lot of outreach with all the centers.
Okay.
We would definitely double check them and make sure what they're holding.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking for a trade people in our industry.
We have some too, but they're not in those trades. We have Cisco and all that. So it's just like getting the kids involved in the trades is what I'm really wanting to make sure we continue to focus on, especially when it's so close to our community.
Is there any issues with the OSU side of procurement? Because it's OSU, are you having to adhere to state standards, or is?
We have to adhere to a lot of standards.
Right. I know that.
It's gotta have. It cannot be gold.
I'm just curious. Right. Oh, I know.
The community room is going to be a blue color, but it can't be a certain shade of blue.
No, we can't be blue at all.
So we've received some federal funding, we've received state funding, we've received county funding, we've received city funding, which we're very thankful for all of those levels of funding. But all of those levels of funding come with various restrictions and requirements for us to follow. Plus, with OSU being at the table, obviously, I'm not a huge fan. I was going to the Rose Bowl when they won one year. So it's important for us to adhere as best we can to the Ohio State license to protect their brand as well as our brand.
And everything's smooth so far? Okay.
Yeah, when you renovate a building that was built in the mid-70s, you're going to find some things you weren't expecting to find. But yeah, we'll work through it.
My representation from pharmacy as to what they wanted that area to look like. We did a clinic on the east side, so we can replicate that. So we put cameras. And we put our learners in our side.
And I know you asked the gentleman who was with the apartment complex about a grand opening celebration. We will definitely be doing one.
Yeah. Will there be food?
Well, we'll see. I'm sure
there will be something somewhere.
Any other questions or anything? We definitely want this to be an asset for the community, and we'll also be visiting with the Mid-East Area Commission and the Far East Area Commission. We know we're in yours, but we're kind of where the three meet up. So
that coalition.
I have one more last one. Have there been any more issues with like thefts or anything like that? Because I know it kind of happened like the night of, it made it on the news.
When they first started construction.
The fruit in Ohio Health is not goals.
Progress.
I think we were in the news for the demolition area. It's like, well, they opened the door for us. I just want to see what's
No, it's really the demolition, and then the next morning, here's an email.
But anything, if you do notice anything, you all live in the area, you go drive past the area, if you notice anything, let us know, let them know. It's got our number too.
Y'all have that one security system where they call you Tattletale? Do you have Tattletale? That seems to work a lot, especially if you have fencing up and it's going all the way around the fencing, if they can see that you have that. On most of the construction sites I've been on, it seems to work pretty good.
And we tried to put up a lot of signage to say this is what's coming, hoping that if the neighborhood knows what's coming, they'll look out for it. Maybe even a bulletin. They have those bulletin boards on that corner with the motion, the electronic bulletin boards. Maybe putting an ad on there that just constantly reminds people that this is coming with, full color, full blown, flashing through might, get people a little bit more pumped up about what's coming and feel, a little bit more observant of, let me keep an eye out over there for you.
I do have some pamphlets, but they our site and material that we provide.
Okay.
Everybody, we are taking patients, and then we're doing as a new site.
And not just construction, new patients, that means, new nurses, new dental hygienists, but all the schools have those kids on this side of town who might want to live on this side of town, go to school on this side of town, go to Ohio State and, get education.
Right. So many of our staff, students started talking about this, I live over there.
Because I live in that area. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so quite a few patients that we are receiving. Yeah. So any absence around.
means if they're over here working, they're going to spend their money over here. Go to Dublin or OSU or campus.
So I'm over here trying to get administrators.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. So it looks like the next 3 things that we have on the agenda is just the normal updates. In lieu of time, I'm just going to ask if Lynn has anything that she wants to say.
Myers did send a report in. I will email it to everyone after the presentation.
Okay.
And secondly, the $100,000 contract that Commissioner Councilmember mentioned today provided for marketing is complete. I need a designee or 2 designees to take that report and look at some videos where you can put your own information in and use those videos in your marketing tool. So I can share that with you if we can present that to the commission. So as you think of it, as if anyone is interested in doing some marketing on behalf of the commission, I can share that information. And lastly, the mayor's dinner is going to be November 12th at 5 p.m. at Fran Ryan Recreation Center. I think that it would be really good to have a greater Southeast area commission present.
I've already had it.
You did.
November 12th at what time?
I was number 7.
Oh my gosh. So you can follow Commissioner Victoria Murray's lead on that.
You said November 12th at what time?
The 12th at 5 p.m. at Franklin. And that's all I have.
I'll have to be there so I can remind them that we want to rest them. I'll do that every time. Okay. Thank you, Lynn. Next, do we have the minutes from last meeting? Okay. And are there any zoning updates?
Yes, on the phone, no.
I'm sorry, what did you
Yes.
say? Nothing.
Just a couple quick updates. One, if you're not aware, the Fort Rapids sale has finally been approved.
Yay!
No, it's a yoo-hoo, yay party, celebrate, clank some margaritas in the air. I'm assuming that they're going to have to come through us because I don't think the current zoning allows what they're going to want to kind of do. I'm assuming they're going to have to have some type of variance throughout the process. So that's just an update on that. Do plan to have a zoning committee next month, a meeting. We will have one application in the pipeline. We just talked to that applicant yesterday. It is in regard to putting senior housing on Refugee Road. It will, it is I think it's the Ebenezer Church, that's the name. They have 2 acres in the back end of their property and they're looking to sell and turn it into senior housing.
Down by Hamilton.
Yep. So I talked to the developer about that, so anticipate that next month. And then we have a zoning update on which I'm going to defer some of my time to, so you can provide an update on kind of where zoning is and some information with that.
Any more on the Lidora yet, Mark?
It is tabled until further notice. I will let anyone know when I get an email. So I have no idea why it was tabled. I mean, we have assumptions.
I know. I just can't say.
We've heard through the grapevine basically why it has been, but officially it's just been pulled by the developer right now. I'm assuming it'll go up in a couple of months, probably at the most inconvenient time, so people won't show up because that's how developers play. But I digress.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to stand over here so I can talk to all of you if I may. My name is Mark Willis. I'm with the City of Columbus Development Department Planning Division, and thanks for a couple minutes to provide an update on the city zone-in project. And hopefully you've heard of zone-in at this point. The city's been working on it for really several years. Last summer, we completed phase 1, which rezoned 140 miles of corridors in the city. And we have now been working on phase 2, launched this past June, and we've been engaging people throughout the summer and into this fall. And really, the focus of this phase is industrial areas and job sites, and some additional mixed-use corridors that sort of continues the work of phase 1. So we're in phase 2. Ultimately, there'll be a phase 3 that finishes the city. But this phase right now, we're in the thick of it. And really the product that we've been working on over the last several months is the creation of updated land use plans for the portions of the city that are addressed by phase 2. So if there's an industrial area of the city or a job center or some mixed-use corridors that are in phase 2, and this map has been online now for several weeks, and we've gotten thousands of people to engage on it, both through surveys and festivals and community meetings and map workshops. We've done a lot of legwork in talking to folks. This updated land use, this will result in a land use plan that we will be bringing to City Council this December and asking them to adopt it. When they adopt it next year, then we'll initiate the part of actually rezoning those properties. We needed to do the land use plan first because it's the legal basis for the rezoning, and the city didn't have up-to-date land use policy to support the rezoning effort. So that draft land use plan is online now, and hopefully you've seen it. If you Google zone in Columbus, you will get there. And we're continuing to take input on it for another couple of weeks. We also have a station downtown where you could, again, if you go to the website, you can make a reservation and come and talk to the planner and look at the maps for your area and provide input on it. That'll be open again for the next couple of weeks. This updated land use plan will replace your land use guidance in the southeast area. Your southeast area plan was adopted in 2018. We have found over the years, over the decades, Columbus has done land use planning by area, by community plan. What we have found is that we can't keep up with them. Our oldest ones go back to 1992 as existing land use plans. Yours is the most recent, one of the most recent ones in 2018. But even with that, they get out of date too quick because we can't keep up with them. There's all the 225 square miles of Columbus, and it takes about 2 years to do a land use plan working with the community. We're transitioning to a citywide basis where now we will have a citywide land use plan that we will be able to keep up to date on a regular basis. If not every year, every other year, where we come back to you and allow you to engage on up-to-date land use guidance. So in 5 more years and 10 more years and 20 more years, you're not continuing to use a plan that is out of date. So that's in play right now. We're going to bring it to council. We're going to ask them to adopt it, and then we will proceed to the zoning part. I mentioned the information station downtown. It's a little out of your area. The one remaining library session we have is going to be in the Hilltop on November 3rd. Really, your best bet at this point is to go to the zoning website if you want to provide input, or schedule one of us planners downtown to provide input on that. You also probably will be getting an email in the next day or two, chair and zoning chair, asking you to consider making an official recommendation on this citywide land use plan. We're calling it the Columbus Growth Strategy, so you look for those words. Those will be words to look for. There'll be a link to a document and to a map that you can review. You don't have to take action on it, but we're seeking people's support as we approach City Council. That's the quick update. Just wanted to bring you that highlight. Appreciate the time tonight. Be happy to answer any questions.
With the goal and the vision of moving forward with the single use plan, do know that when we did go through that process of the guinea pigs with C2P2 and the guidelines, we did have extra recommendations in ours because we were one of just a few area commissions that had hundreds and hundreds of acres of open land, especially next to metro parks.
Yes.
With going to the single use plan, are those recommendations and ideas that we worked through and ultimately advocated and fought for?
Yes.
Will those be incorporated into that? Because that was kind of a heavy pushing point for us when we did that.
Absolutely. I mean, I appreciate the memory and the knowledge because we're proud of that work too, and we talk about it. We refer to that work as sort of like area specific policies and kind of a uniqueness to your plan. And there's others and other plans where it's like this is a unique situation, so it needs a little bit of a custom approach, and we're going to find a place for that. We challenge ourselves to say, is it truly unique, or is it something that's common to a lot of communities? And if it is common, then let's make it a standard policy to really help represent all of those areas. But if it's a truly unique situation that needs to be lived on in this community, we could lump it in and continue to call it an area-specific policy to the southeast area, and it would show up on your map. So we will not forget about that. Yes, thank you for the question.
Well, some of this, like the land use, I get that, but the updates to the zoning efforts, will through streets and sidewalks be part of requirements when zoning some of these complexes? Because our problem out here is that they keep making them dead end patches. Here's an apartment complex. Here's an apartment. Nothing's joining them into neighborhoods.
Yes.
And you go into other areas like, the Linden area, and they have streets, and you can, they're connected. Off the main roads, they're still connected. And here, there's no connection. It's dead end. And they make them like, well, I'm an HOA, and I don't want to be a part of that.
Right.
But when it comes to services, they want the trucks to come in there and clear the road. You can't get in and out because they make them so small, and they make it where all you can do is get one car around the corner. So, are you guys looking at those types of things as you're
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it's a perfect example of the need for citywide policy. We would do plan by plan, and some of our plans would say there should be connectivity, and other times, for whatever reason, it didn't make it. And now there's language in this growth strategy document that is online saying, connectivity is a priority, and it doesn't this is a policy document, we call it. This isn't law, it's their guidelines. So, everything has a specific circumstance, and sometimes because of some circumstance, you can't make the connectivity occur, or maybe it's an existing piece, and this is an existing piece, and you just can't get there, but it means that it's on our radar. And so that as development comes in, we look to create connections. They can't always be road connections, but we at least want them to be bicycle and pedestrian. And kind of like the project that was talked tonight, say Homeport's doing the work. They may not own that ground that's on Gender, or maybe they're not able to afford it, or the city says, we're going to do the project in a year or two, so don't worry about it. But it's always going to be on our radar so that we make sure that we're doing our due diligence. You all have that chance too. So 100%, because it's so important, that connectivity for safety and for people's health and for all the reasons. Yeah. Well, if there's anything else, I'll get out. Again, appreciate the time and look for the email. We'll looking for your support, and we'll be back. Back. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Are there any committee reports?
I have a bylaws report.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, no. There was a request to make a change in the bylaws. It was read last week. I will read it again today, and then we can take a vote to see if we can make that change. It is Article 4, Section. It's coming. Doesn't have enough?
Is there? You can have mine.
Is that it?
No, it's,
Mike and I can work together.
But Article 4, Section 2B says 3 at-large commissioners shall be employed on real property or operate a business within the area and shall be nominated by the commission. The 3 individuals nominated by the commission may be firm but not limited to the following: 1 official from Greater Southeast City Schools, 1 representative of the Greater Southeast Clergy, and 1 from a Greater Southeast Area Business Association. I would like to change that to read 3 at-large commissioners shall be employed on real property, operate a business, or represent a nonprofit within the area, and shall be nominated by the commission. And then the following stays the same. The 3 individuals nominated by the commission may be from, but not limited to, 1 official from the Greater Southeast City Schools, 1 representative of Greater Southeast Clergy, and 1 from Greater Southeast Area Business Association.
So your change is to add not a nonprofit.
Represent a nonprofit, correct?
Can I make a motion to do an addendum or
Absolutely.
a change? Can we, instead of saying East Area Business Association, can we do East Area Business and or Business Association?
East Area
Business
and or Business Association.
Yes. So we need 2 votes, 1 to make that change, to add the and/or, and then 1 to update the bylaws to have a nonprofit.
Okay, so I make the motion for the change.
And I second it.
Okay, so can I ask you more specific, what change are you making the motion on?
I'll make a motion to change the language on the last line
The and or?
from Greater Southeast Area Business Association to Greater Southeast Area Business and or Business Association.
Okay. And Madam Chair, you seconded?
Yes.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to add the word?
Do it. I want to go home.
Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any question?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Perfect. Thank you.
We have to do that certification form now.
Yeah. You have a copy of the form.
I have the email saved.
Okay, so if you could do it in that format, leave the signature line at the bottom.
Okay. Who has to sign it?
I believe it's here.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you said you need me to sign tonight?
Yeah, I got it.
I already signed them because you weren't here.
Oh,
I think you're gonna have to redo them though because they're all 2-year. All the positions are supposed to be 3-year terms, and you have them as 2-year.
They're, I think they're still 3 years because.
No, they're supposed to be 3 years, but they're all written as 2 years.
Well, this one is filling a
Okay.
position.
So that one's right. The other two should be.
And this is 3 years because it's January.
Oh, yeah, that weird math. My bad. Sorry. I just looked at the numbers. I didn't read between the lines.
it's your job to read between the lines.
Well, you know what? It's been a long day, okay?
Can you sign this since it says chair and not vice chair?
That's why I put acting. You weren't here at the moment.
Oh. So it's coming.
Okay, so thank you for that.
I just got it.
I'll get these out tomorrow. Thank you.
Can I sign underneath just in case there's a problem? I won't come back and say no problem. Thank you, since I am here. And then what else we got?
Actually, the other ones they were fine.
Old business. We did the bylaw amendment.
No.
We voted on the bylaw.
There's no old business. Anyone got any old business?
That was the
No.
fun one.
Anyone-
That was the old business.
Anyone got dirty laundry they need to hang out there to air it? I don't know.
Okay, and the next thing we have is our new business, juvenile court overview. Is anybody supposed to be doing something on that?
I think you asked the Peaches to add it to it, but then I
I
don't.
didn't. I move we adjourn.
I second.
The next agenda item is adjourn. Or take a motion to adjourn.
I
So moved. Diana and who else was the second? Victoria.
All right, you're gonna have to give me
All
a
in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And,
And it is what time?
8:35.
and, just an aside, we're supposed to have the turkey drive 21st of November. I'll get you.
Okay. Give me a hot second. I gotta end this. I gotta end it.